Hi, I'm Bill Snodgrass, author of the World of Siliar. You can find the World of Siliar at www.siliar.com, and you can become a member of the site and have access to reference material and things like that. People ask sometimes, they'll say, who's the main character? Who's the main character in the World of Siliar? And that is a difficult question because there are a lot of characters who have very important roles to play. But if I were to look at the entire body of work at this point and thinking about things that are planned for the future, my answer is probably Nathan. Nathan becomes this character that threads together almost all the stories, and he becomes the sort of the coming of age transition character that people will want to watch and will want to see how, beginning with Valley of Regret and all the way through Prophetess, how he changes. Nathan appears throughout the Thriceborn series, including Tangles and Turns, which is really not a story about him, but he's the point of view character where everyone over the years after the war, they told Nathan things and he recorded them, which becomes the Tangles and Turns book. He's also the main character through the Truthfinder series, and that becomes sort of pretty much the groundwork for what will come in future writing. The Truthfinder series is going to be very important in future books. So Truthfinder and Prophetess will be very influential books in things that are to come. So what is Nathan? Well, Nathan is a young apprentice to Marlene Brenner, who ties together a lot of the characters: Lancel, Nathan, Ben, Hobb, Rachel, Kira, and Denton. They all end up sort of gravitating into this group because of Marlene Brenner. And so Nathan is his apprentice. He started his apprenticeship late. We find out in the first book, around the 5th or 6th section, that Nathan started late. Most magic apprentices start 15 or 16. Nathan was a couple years behind that. But Nathan has, according to the people who observe him, in Siliar magic, there is a force of magic that people generate within their bodies, and it creates what people trained can see as a magic aura. And so you can kind of gauge roughly how much power someone has by the size of their aura and the shape, and there's a color aspect to it as well. And Nathan's aura is huge. We learned this early on. Mage Marlene Brenner tells Lancel, like, this guy's got a lot of potential, a lot of power. And it plays out at the end of the Valley of Regret that Nathan's magic power is enormous. People who see his magic power are just unequivocally shocked. So Nathan has a huge amount of magic, but what Nathan also has is a huge heart for the people in the world. And he starts off in the early book, the adventure-seeking, glory-seeking. He's read all these stories about war and magic, and he wants to be in that exciting world. But Nathan's transformation begins there, and by the end of the first book, and certainly as the other 11 books in the Thriceborn collection occur, Nathan transforms his understanding of what adventure is. He never loses his passion for the people around him, but he certainly grows in his understanding of what it means to be part of these great events and these things that he would have considered storybook epic, but when he's in the middle of them, his understanding of those things change. So Nathan is probably a character that you're going to want to watch. You're going to want to see how he progresses through the stories. It is partly a coming-of-age story about Nathan, and that makes it kind of exciting, especially for young readers who can pick up on Nathan and Kira and Hobb and to some extent Rachel, and watch them as they grow through the stories and as they become much more capable young adults. So it's pretty exciting. I think my oldest son Anthony sort of pointed at Nathan as being a very important character, and I had known when I was writing it that I wanted him to have this growth arc, but I think Anthony had called my attention to how just important he is, probably somewhere in the middle of book 7 or 8 when we started talking about it one day. So that's it. That's kind of the character sketch for the character Nathan, who is going to thread together all of the works. He is not a part of Hearts of Justice, but as I said in another video, Hearts of Justice ultimately feeds into Prophetess, so he sort of ties in there in an indirect way. So that's it. That's it for this video. Nathan the Apprentice. He becomes known as Nathan the Truthfinder. That's a whole book that explains that. Nathan the Truthfinder. So hopefully you will check that out. Enjoy it and tell other people about it. If you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications. Go over to www.siliar.com. Join the sites, and you can get access to some of the background information. You can also post on the forum and share your ideas and thoughts. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Again, I will see you in the next episode.